Tell those musicians to start playing some action music because it is on. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Come on, you guys. Yeah!
Greetings, Panda. We meet at last.
Yeah!
Take that!
Ooh, inner peace.
Felt good. Come on, guys, let's go! Yeah!
When you start at any of these projects, you have sort of a picture in your head of how you want people to feel watching the movie. And I think what we were most proud of was that people really connected to Poe. They found a little bit of themselves in him, and that allowed them, I think, to really enjoy the ride that he goes on.
You guys see that? It's called being awesome.
From the very beginning, Jack Black has really created the character of Poe.
My fist hungers for justice! That was my fist.
Part of it is humor and irreverence and enthusiasm, and part of it is a kind of vulnerability that Jack has. There's a real sweetness in Jack's character that he brings to Poe, and I think that's one of the reasons people really connect to him.
We're coming for you, Shan!
And then his sense of humor, his comic timing, his ability to kind of come up with crazy pretend words in the middle of a sentence.
Sparrow kick!
That makes no sense.
When we get there in the studio, he often ad-libs a lot of stuff.
That is severely cool.
But he will add stuff on his own that gives a lot of that poism to it.
You guys see that? It's called being awesome. I don't know, I feel pretty good.
It's great. Let's
I
go.
feel like we've captured a lot of magic.
It's all acting to me, whether it's just voice or, full body acting, I guess you'd say. The job is still the same. It's to pretend that these scenarios are real and have real emotions.
I'm better when my hair is tousled a little bit.
At the end of these sessions, these recording sessions that may last several hours, at the end of it, he looks like he's run a marathon because he acts out a lot of this stuff.
It helps me act better when I really get into the body position that Poe would be in.
So serious.
This is, in many ways, the same crew from the first film. We've been through a long, long span of Panda years together. It's really a treat to work with so many people who personally take it upon themselves to make a great product. I mean, you're working with some of the best actors in the industry.
I mean, how can Kung Fu stop something that stops Kung Fu?
Remember, Dragon Warrior, anything is possible when you have inner peace.
We need to get to that tower without being spotted by the wolves.
Poe! Incoming!
Sorry, Poe. It's just me.
I'll give you a signal.
Gaga! Gigi!
Gotcha!
The thing about Poe with the Furious Five is they love him, but he's also kind of like their little brother. He's brand new to this whole Kung Fu master thing, so he'll embarrass them sometimes. That creates a lot of the comedy in the movie.
Where's Poe?
How can we lose a guy that big?
Is that while they love him and are aware of his power, they're also kind of embarrassed by his silliness.
Oh, the day you were chosen as Dragon Warrior was the worst day of my life. Nothing else came close.
People like them together because I think they're like every family. They're kind of that weird dysfunctional family where they all love each other, but they get on each other's nerves all the time, and they've got a lot to work out.
Tigress, no!
The hardcore do understand, but I can't watch my friend be killed.
I think the relationship between Poe and Tigress has a lot more going on in Kung Fu Panda 2 than in the first movie.
I am ready.
And Angelina's really taken that character and the development of that character very seriously. She understands where she's coming from emotionally.
I just found out that my dad isn't really my dad.
Your dad, the goose. Well, that must have been quite a shock.
So there's this level that Angelina has brought as an actress that's really made the character deeper and more interesting to watch.
I hope this turns out better than your plan to cook rice in your stomach by eating it raw and then drinking boiled water.
This plan's nothing like that plan.
She's a fighter and she's out to go get the bad guy. She's also in this one for her, which is very nice for me. She has a bit of an emotional breakthrough and learns to be a little nicer. That was pretty hardcore.
It's an amazing honor when an actor does these movies and is so excited to do it, and James Hong is really an example of that.
Thank you for coming to Dragon Warriors, Noodles, and Tofu.
He has just so taken this role of Mr. Ping to heart and really become him. He'll send us notes, thoughts that he's had about the character in the middle of the night, or even when he's not working. I feel like he's still really thinking about the character and what it means to have that son.
So good to see you, Poe. Have you lost weight? I can almost put my wings around you. Mr. Ping is really a character of depth. He has many facets. He's a single parent, sort of like a Jewish mother and a Chinese father combined, if you can imagine that. And that's me giving you a piggyback ride. On second thought, I'll hang on to this one.
I think it was just like one of these perfect marriages between actor and role. He's just incredibly passionate about it.
In honor of my son, free tofu desserts for everyone with purchases.
Kung Fu Panda 2, we had a lot of new characters, and we were really lucky to find so many great actors that wanted to come and work with us.
The year of the peacock begins now.
We wanted to do a villain that was a little different than the first movie. We thought, well, what if this time Poe is challenged by somebody who's going to be a real mental opponent for him? So came up with this idea of a peacock who isn't obviously physically strong, but one who'll be very cunning, very smart.
With the weapon by my side, all China will bow before.
I think we all felt like Gary Oldman would be the perfect casting for the peacock. He's so intelligent, and he has so many layers and levels in his acting.
Everything must be exactly as I envisioned it.
He understands. It's a very kind of twisted, demented guy that the peacock is.
Call in the wolves! All of them!
And Gary really gravitated towards that. As you know, he's done some amazing villains, and I think the peacock is a really fun one.
Whoa! The only reason you're still alive is that I find your stupidity mildly amusing.
Well, thank you.
You know that sort of proud, entitled thing that peacocks have? Well, he has that in spades.
Will the subjugation of the whole world finally make you feel better?
That's a start. He's very witty, and he's quite a mean tongue on him.
Happiness must be taken.
I mean, he fits very nicely in the gallery of sort of Oldman villains.
Find this panda and bring him to me.
Yes, sir. Guess nobody told you. If you mess with a wolf, you get the fangs. The first time I saw the drawings of my character, I was like, this is me. This is how I picture myself, as an angry, furry, vicious wolf. And so it seemed like it was going to be a natural fit. Losing steam, Tubby! For one, he has one eye. Get him! He has big fangs. He is just a big bad wolf. You know, who doesn't want to play the big bad wolf?
I do not like that guy. The ferocious Master Croc! And Master Storming Ox.
We had all these great Kung Fu masters in this film to flesh out the world and make things feel even bigger. And we were very fortunate to have these amazing actors, and they're all super cool.
Master Ox, I'm not letting you stay in this cell.
I'd like to see you get me out!
Master Ox is being played by Dennis Haysbert. He's got that wonderful, deep, booming voice that seems very masterly.
You insolent fool!
And he never approached it like it was a cartoon ox. He always approached it like he was a Kung Fu master that was suffering from the loss of his mentor. I mean, he really took the part seriously and brought this intensity to it that really gave that character, even in the few scenes that he's in, great depth.
Dongmen is under the stewardship of the Master's Council, and we will protect it, even from you.
Master Reiner is played by Victor Garber. He doesn't last very long in the movie, and we really needed to make an impression. We needed somebody who Poe would respect and look up to, and so that's why I think we went to Victor Garber, because he does have this kind of this rich, buttery voice, and he's able to give you sort of the sense of command, but you know that he's kind.
That is a warning. You are no match for our Kung Fu.
I agree. But this is.
Shen and his weapon are in control now. Soon all of China will be begging for mercy.
I always figured that if you're doing a Kung Fu movie, you gotta have Jean-Claude Van Damme. And he was willing to do it, like, oh my gosh, what a treat. So we got him a cameo in the movie, and he's just an amazing, amazing person. And he's just such an exciting person to be around.
It was great because the first time I talked to the people from DreamWorks, and they saying you're gonna play a crocodile. And I go, a crocodile, but my legs are so short, you know, the front, back. Oh, I'm going to be able to kick and everything. And they told me you're gonna use your tail a lot. So I go, whoa, 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 and schlack, you know, something like that, you know. Are you hurt? It's true, because she's doing this to me. She's great. She know I'm a crocodile. When Jennifer looked at me and she talked to me, she saw me as a crocodile. She didn't see me as Jean-Claude Van Damme. I started martial arts when I was 11 years old, and now I'm almost 50. I was one of the pioneer of martial art, and I was the first guy in the world to do a split between two chairs. So that's why in the movie we have some great karate moves. Vengeance is served.
We're really lucky to have Michelle Yeoh on the film also.
I see pain. Ow! And anger. How dare you! Followed by denial.
This is not fortune-telling. You're just saying what's happening right
now.
She's obviously a kung fu legend, so we were all beyond excited to have her come take on the role.
As a voice of wisdom in the movie, her voice just has that weight and that wisdom to it. And we wanted to make sure that the soothsayer had a voice that was as velvety as hers.
Your story may not have such a happy beginning, but that doesn't make you who you are. It is the rest of your story.
And I think Michelle was surprised that we asked her to do a character that doesn't even do kung fu.
Like you could make me drink that.
I wish that we could have given her like some crazy kung fu fight scene, but it just wouldn't have fit the character of the soothsayer.
Feats of fury!
We got a great cast. I know people are excited about just hearing those voices and seeing their moves. And it's the combination of exciting kung fu action.
Skadoosh.
With, you know, the ridiculous comedy.
Disc of destruction!
It's one of the films that I've made that I'm absolutely the most proud of. I think it is beautifully done. It's funny and it's touching and it's got great action and it's all those things that make a great movie.
I love you, Dad. To be part of this, it's a great feeling. It's just a special feeling. It's an action comedy.
I like a squirrel! Taste the defeat!
With a kung fu panda. I mean, come on.
Kung Fu still lives!
The Valley of Peace is the home base for Shifu, Po, and the Furious Five.
Yes! New record! You monster!
Full of breathtaking mountain ranges and lush greenery, its grand landscapes are complemented by a mystical, soothing fog.
Inner peace.
One of the most distinguishing characteristics of the valley is a series of majestic sweeping mountains known as Sugarloaves. These mountains were inspired by the Li River Valley and the Huangshan mountain range in China. The view from atop the Huangshan peaks often resembles a sea of clouds, which lend themselves to incredible sunsets. The use of mist in the Valley of Peace was equally important to the filmmakers. Mist is often featured in classic Chinese paintings as a symbol of the beauty in emptiness.
Whoa!
And to the filmmakers, it also added a certain element of poetic mystery to their beloved valley.
Don't worry, Shifu, I'll master Inner Peace as soon as I get back.
No snack stops this time.
Snack stops. Wait, are you serious?
Besides featuring breathtaking mountainous views, the Valley of Peace is also home to many defenseless species, like geese, bunnies, and pigs.
Enough talk, let's fight!
Because of this, the filmmakers wanted the Valley of Peace to evoke a feeling of safety and relaxation.
Peace on!
The structural design of the town was influenced by the architecture in southern China, which often features white buildings with dark tiles. Mr. Ping's Noodle Restaurant went through a bit of a remodel following the original Kung Fu Panda. The entry archway was rebuilt after it was destroyed during the Po and Tai Lung battle sequence in the first film. Always the savvy businessman, Mr. Ping took the opportunity to retire the name Golden Harvest Noodle Restaurant and rebrand his establishment Dragon Warrior Noodle and Tofu.
No touching! You get them up dirty.
The restaurant is also full of decorative influences that the filmmakers spotted during their research trip to Beijing and the Forbidden City. The fresh food and spices, multicolored lanterns and flags, and the colorful design and shape of the buildings all help to flesh out the town that Po and the Furious Five call home.
Oh, Paul, I got your travel pack. I even pack all your action figures.
Oh, hey, I don't know what those are. Tell those musicians to start playing some action music because it is on.
The Musicians Village sits comfortably on the edge of a cliff just outside the Valley of Peace.
Wings of Justice!
Much of the inspiration for the village came from a monastery in the Qingchang Mountains that the filmmakers visited in Chengdu, China. Much like the buildings in Chengdu, the rooftops in the Musicians Village are covered with a thin layer of green grass and moss. Even the descent of the wolves into the town mirrors the filmmakers' own journey into Chengdu. The musical instruments were also inspired by those seen by the filmmakers during a performance in the city of Zhengzhou. Red Rin drums, zhengs, and bells are just a few of the traditional Chinese instruments that are proudly featured in the film.
Tiger! Monkey! Viper! Mantis! Bunny!
What?
Oh, sorry. Come on, guys, let's go! Yeah!
As Po and the Furious Five travel to Gongmen City, they cross a vast array of locations in China, from the beautiful yellow mountain ranges to the snow-topped Himalayas, to the sand-swept valleys of the Gobi Desert. The group travels across many of China's most awe-inspiring settings.
We're here, Gongmen City.
Are you familiar with the Master of Gongmen City?
Master Thundering Rhino?
Yes.
The look and feel of Gongmen City is meant to play in direct contrast to Po's serene hometown in the Valley of Peace. Gongmen City is a bustling environment full of an abundant population of antelopes, bunnies, pigs, sheep, and wolves.
Hey.
The city, which features crowded markets and crisscrossing alleyways, was designed to take Po out of his comfort zone. The city of Pingyao in China proved to be an endless source of inspiration for the design of Gongmen City. Small details like statues, red lanterns, architectural designs, and ornate flower details all add to the charm of Gongmen City. Rickshaw carts, which play a key role in the chase sequence in Gongmen City, were inspired by carts seen in the cities of Beijing and Pingyao.
No!
Even the scaffolding seen in the film was influenced by photos taken by the filmmakers.
Your turn! I do not like that guy.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Now we've got the pleasantries out of the way, please leave my house.
In creating a home for the villain Lord Shen, the filmmakers wanted to build a tower that was impressive both in size and scale. The Tower of the Sacred Flame seemed to fit the bill, with an impressive 10 stories and 629 stairs.
Ah, my old enemy, stairs.
Inspired by the Yellow Crane Tower in Wuhan and the Pavilion of Prince Tang in Jiangxi, the Tower of the Sacred Flame can be seen from miles away, towering over the rooftops of Gongmen City.
That must be Shen's palace on the other side of the city.
The tower hosts a striking 8-story open atrium, which Po and the Furious Five experience firsthand. The interior of Shen's palace is also both regal and intimidating. Inspired by the colors and artwork of buildings in the Forbidden City, the palace walls are covered in ornate artwork and drapes. Throughout the upper level of the tower, the filmmakers also incorporated Lord Shen's red fire theme into hanging torches, columns, and decorative artwork. Even Shen's peacock tail symbol is visible throughout the palace. The main courtyard for the palace is also an architectural feat. Based on the ancient Chinese tradition that an open courtyard contained no concealment for enemies, Shen's palace entrance is stripped of the typical gardens and shrubbery that adorn palace squares. The palace is also surrounded by a large steep wall and flanked by 4 large towers on each side, both of which were inspired by the filmmakers' trip to Pingyao.
Bring it down!
But for all its beauty and magnitude, it's the destruction of the Tower of the Sacred Flame that proves to be its most memorable feat in the film.
Once we reach the harbor, you and your precious Kung Fu will die.
As the gateway both into and out of Gongmen City, the harbor serves a dual purpose. For Lord Shen, the harbor is the jumping-off point for his expansion into all of China.
Then China will know to bow before me.
Set sail!
But for Po,
Stop Shen before he gets to the harbor!
it is his last chance to stop Shen and his army of wolves. Loosely based on the city of Fengwang, the harbor features narrow canals lined with classic Chinese architecture and traditional Chinese sailing vessels known as junk. The city of Fengwang is named after the phoenix, the legendary bird that is reborn from the flames. The legend claims that when 2 of the mythical birds flew over the city, they found it so beautiful that they hovered there, reluctant to leave. Showcasing a perfect blend of fire and water, the harbor was a fitting setting for the final showdown in the film. To set a mood of foreboding in the beautiful location, the filmmakers colored the harbor with Shen's signature red fog. Shen's fleet of ships also feature the flaming eye symbol seen throughout the film. But for all of Shen's efforts, it is the triumph of water over fire that saves the harbor and ultimately all of China. For the reveal of the panda community at the end of the film, the filmmakers wanted the audience to feel the great distance that was traveled to get to the new village. Set in a valley of a beautiful mountain range, the new panda village is rich with greenery and farmland. Inspired by the lush green landscape seen on their trip to Qingcheng Mountain in Chengdu, the filmmakers added plenty of moss-covered rocks and trees to the panda village. Home to the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding, this region of China seemed like the perfect fit to inspire the creation of a new panda community. In fact, the filmmakers were so enamored with the region of Chengdu that they wrote the name Qingcheng Mountain in Chinese characters into the rock in this shot.
My son is alive.
Pandas are one of the most threatened species in the world, with an estimated 1,600 left in the wild. In order to save and protect this adored species, scientists and conservationists from around the globe have teamed up and pooled together their collective resources. In the last few decades, this global effort has spawned panda births from Spain to Thailand to Mexico. And with each new panda birth comes hope in the future of our beloved panda. Join us for an inside look at the adorable, lovable giant panda. It's easy to see why people around the world are so fascinated with pandas. And for the filmmakers of Kung Fu Panda 2, spending time up close and personal with pandas proved to be an invaluable experience for bringing pandas to life on the screen. Between their adventurous climbing skills, adorable facial expressions, and love of eating, pandas were an endless source of inspiration for Po. As part of their research for the film, many of the department heads had the unique opportunity to visit the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding in China.
That's severely cool.
When you make a movie, it takes a lot of years, 3 years, and you're always looking for moments of inspiration, and I think that's a big part of coming here, is just being inspired and excited to spend another 3 years with pandas. Also just to see things that we might not know about them, little ways that they move or how they act, and have a chance to see them in habitat that's so close to the natural habitat is very exciting.
It looks like the actual habitat that they would have out in the wild, and you can see just the health and the vitality of the pandas here, that there's a great deal of love that goes into taking care of them and researching them. It was wonderful to see.
You guys see that? It's called being awesome.
We never got to on the first film, and now to see one up close and personal is amazing, and also for what the film is doing for the conservation of the panda. We feel very honored to be here seeing the panda. It's amazing. It was a happy panda.
Besides creating the research centers, China also loans pandas to zoos around the world, with the hope that breeding techniques might be discovered and shared among scientists.
I don't think a lot of people realize that all the pandas in the U.S. and any country outside of China really are on loan. They're owned by China. As part of that loan agreement, we contribute substantially to conservation projects in China. The money aside, what that has done is really brought a broader network of scientists, trainers, veterinarians who are dealing with different aspects of panda research and reproduction and biology.
One of the greatest benefits of the zoo loans is the increased public awareness of the plight of the giant panda. But fans of the panda would say it's the chance to see their favorite animal up close and personal. In 2010, Zoo Atlanta in Georgia was blessed with a panda birth of its own. Born to parents Lun Lun and Yang Yang, the male panda cub was healthy and strong. But like all panda babies, the cub was not quite as cuddly as one would expect.
When a baby panda is born, it doesn't look like an adult panda. So when they're first born, they don't have any of the black markings. They're mostly pink with just a sparse covering of white hair, and they're very loud. So their main way to tell mom if they're cold or hungry or anything like that is by vocalizing really loudly. So they're kind of this just screaming little pink animal that doesn't look anything like a panda.
To watch him evolve from little pink thing to black and white to fuzzy black and white was really, really cool. So I think just seeing the evolution and the progression of his maturity has really opened my eyes to how fantastic pandas are.
Panda fans at Zoo Atlanta were also treated to an additional surprise when their baby cub reached 100 days old.
Well, when pandas reach 100 days of age, there's a Chinese naming ceremony, which is really special. It kind of denotes the importance of them reaching 100 days because they are a species that's incredibly fragile and vulnerable when they're first born. And so at 100 days, we had a great ceremony.
Giant panda cub born November 3rd, 2010 is officially named Po!
I flew here to Atlanta, Georgia to meet a panda for the first time. I've never been in the presence of a panda. I have portrayed a panda to great success. It was time to finally come face to face with the real thing. I have a bond with Po, and I have a feeling that we will be spending a lot of time together in the future.
And it was really special that it tied into that movie, which brings a lot of awareness to pandas throughout the world.
I think everyone's kind of happy to have a single syllable, easy to pronounce name for a change, so that's been nice too.
Like most cubs, Po loves spending time with his mother Lun Lun, but he's also beginning to explore around his den.
Each month he changes and grows a little bit, and he is becoming more independent from his mother. He's still, he's going to nurse from her for at least 1.5 years, but he spends more time away from her, and that's mutual. She's more comfortable allowing him to do that.
Don't call Po. I gotta go. I'm the Dragon Warrior. It's kind of my job to save Kung Fu.
The character Po in Kung Fu Panda, of course, is very active and very adventurous. And little Po here at the zoo is the same way. He's pretty daring, so he does share some similarities with his movie character.
As they get older, panda cubs become more adventurous and express their love of climbing and rough and tumble play.
So now that he's older, you know, he's 7 months old now, he's pretty indestructible. So he is a baby bear, and his mom plays with him, and they play really rough. If you watch them, he climbs very high. Sometimes he falls, sometimes he lands on his head, he bounces right back up, he's fine.
Besides playing with Mom, Poe's other favorite activity is sleeping.
All pandas love to sleep. It's a good pastime of theirs. Poe has learned to get into some quite interesting ways. It's always interesting to look under the monitors and see him curled up in a ball 1 minute, and then somehow it seems like he's flat out on his back. And then you turn around, next time he's halfway up the tree, dangling. So pandas can always sleep wherever they end up.
Though Poe still enjoys his mother's milk, he recently learned the joys of treats like bananas and soy-based leaf eater biscuits, which are packed with vitamins and proteins.
Poe has just learned how tasty the leaf eater biscuits are lately, so he's taken to stealing them from his mom. We'll occasionally put some in his favorite eating spot, and he knows to eat them before Lun Lun finds out that he's eating them, because she will take them back. As pandas grow up, one task they have to learn to do is how to eat bamboo. So currently he still nurses from his mom, but he has started to chew and play with the bamboo to kind of learn how to eat it.
So all of our pandas that are here at Zoo Atlanta, even if they're born here, they still belong to China. So when they get old enough, it's important for them to go back to China and be part of that population. So Poe, when he's old enough, he will go to China to be part of the captive breeding program there. Probably when he's about 3 or 4 years old. It is very hard to send them away, but we know they're going to a wonderful place, and we know it's the best thing for them and their species.
But for now, as Poe grows older, his fans will continue to watch his progress. And with each new zoo visitor, Poe can continue with his role as an ambassador for panda conservation in his future home of China.
To the whole panda program as well, coming out, getting a zoo membership, visiting these animals on a regular basis, there's really no easier way to support the conservation activities and all that go on kind of behind the scenes than coming out and seeing these guys.
Come on, guys, let's go! Yeah!
The sequence is called Fight Club, and originally when Poe and the Five went to search for the Masters, they found them fighting for money in an underground fight den. This sequence here is where you see Mantis find the bartender at the den, and this bartender is scary to him for reasons completely because of personal reasons.
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Place your bets.
Maybe the bartender's seen him. Hey, excuse me? Is anyone there?
What can I do for you, fellas?
Nothing. Never mind. Stay away from me. What is wrong with you? Did you see the look in her eye? She was getting ready to eat me. Eat you? She doesn't even know you. Hey, watch it, buddy.
Whoa. What's your name, big guy?
This next sequence is called Chasing the Crow. Originally, the crow, as you see here, was who we had for the boss wolf. And we changed animals because he was too similar to the peacock. And when Poe and the Five get to Gangmen City, Poe gives chase and tries to stay out of sight.
Watch out! Oh, sorry.
Hey, watch where you're going.
Whoa! Oh, jeez. Wow! Ow!
This next sequence is called Po in Gangmen City, is when Po and the Five first arrive in Gangmen, and he gets to meet the soothsayer for the first time. And we had moved up the soothsayer's introduction to him to this sequence fairly early in the film. And he gets to interact with the soothsayer, get played around with in his mind, and meet some of the bad guy's henchmen.
Hey, mister, why you got two black eyes? You act like they've never seen a panda before.
They haven't.
And you have?
Maybe.
Where? How many? I don't have money.
What is in your pocket?
Ugh, just an old dumpling. I don't know how safe that is.
I will now tell you your fortune.
Look, all I want to know is...
You've been on a long journey.
Yeah, but about the panda...
Your favorite color is blue. And... You are going to die.
Oh! Whoa! He's after Po! Oh!
Are you ready to master some awesome Kung Fu? Yes! Awesome Kung Fu training! Yeah! Feet of Fury! Thunder Strike! Skadoosh! Fury's 5! Attack! Become the master and save Kung Fu!
DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda 2. Awesomeness available across all gaming systems. Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
Yeah!